Hello again, everyone. Marxmotorman here. This is the Mercury Copper Queen locomotive and tender. I've shown this before in a previous video, but I never did explain exactly how I got this beautiful copper finish. So this video is going to show you how I obtained it. It didn't always look like this when I got it, obviously. Originally, it looked more like this. This is a boiler from a 391 Jubalee. It did have the copper finish on it. Most of it got chipped off. This just went through the stripping process. You can still see there's some shininess to the metal, but most of it is pitted and starting to rust. So, in this next part, I'm going to show exactly the steps I took to come up with this finish. So if you decide to restore one of these, you'll be able to do it yourself. Okay, so here's the body after the chemical stripping. Now you can see they used nickel-plated steel on these particular tenders. You can see the shine on the ends. That's about the only part that didn't get rusted, along with the inside. But unfortunately, once the shellac that they put on started to chip, then rust set in. So I'm going to have to de-rust it. That would be the next process, plus have to knock this little dent out here. So we'll see what it looks like after it's de-rusted. Well, as you can see, an overnight bath and evaporust didn't make much difference. So what I've got to do now is I've got to take all these blemishes out with 600 grit paper. You can see I've done a small section right here. So I'm going to finish this up and we'll take a look and see how that turns out. Okay, here's the piece after sanding. You can see it came out pretty well. Fortunately, the pitting was at a minimum. Now over here, I've got the boiler piece for the Canadian Pacific. That's a 396, and that's going to get the same treatment. But the pitting was at a minimum on this, but due to imperfections, I had to do some filing on it before the sanding. But this came out almost as well. The thing is, the shellac that's going on it is translucent. It's like candy apple paint. So any imperfections in the surface is going to show right through after spraying. So at this point, we're going to buff these pieces out and see if I can get that shine back again. Okay, here's the next step, which is the buffing process. So the first step is the rough buffing. That gets the imperfections out of the metal. So I'm using a rough compound to start off with. So let me fire this thing up. Okay, I'm going to apply the compound. This isn't the polishing phase. This is just to, as I said, get the imperfections out. To bear down quite a bit. And this metal does get hot after a while. You can see I'm using gloves. This process is also a little messy. You can see it's coming along pretty well. So I don't want to bore you for the next half an hour doing this, so I'll just show you the finished results. Okay, here we are at my paint booth. I've got the air gun loaded with amber shellac. That's the same stuff that they used at the factory about 80 years ago when they first built this thing. So now we're going to do the first coat. It's going to get noisy here in a few seconds. So here we go. Okay, you can see now it took a slight tint already. It usually takes around 4 coats to get that copper tint. And we'll finish it up, and the next segment will show you the finished product. Okay, here's the pieces all finished. You can see they've got that nice copper tint. It took about 5 coats of the shellac to get that finish. So now they are ready for decals and clear coat. Okay, here's the finished tender. Decals applied, all put together. And you can see the finish came out great. Over here we've got the boiler for the 396 Jubalee locomotive. That came out great as well. Along with the sideboards. Decals applied. So now it's all set to put together. And now the secret is out. Anyone can put this original finish back on, just like it was put on back in the day. So I hope you enjoyed it. Get out your spray can and have a ball. See you next time.